Hello, welcome to next session. In this session, we will solve GATE 2012 axis thermodynamics. Note the usual notation have been used for thermodynamic variables. Useful data, unless otherwise specified, following data may be used. Universal gas constant R bar is equal to 8.314 kilojoules per kilomole per degree Kelvin. Acceleration due to gravity G is equal to 9.81 meter per second square. Molecular mass of the air MES 29 kg per kilomole per mole. Okay. Specific heat of air at constant pressure Cp is equal to 1.005 kilojoules per kilogram. The ratio of specific heat of air gamma is equal to 1.4. Assume air to be a perfect gas unless specified otherwise. Question 1 and question 9, sorry, these are the data given initially in the booklet. Okay. So question 1 to question 9 carry one mark each. So question 1 is consider a piston cylinder arrangement containing a gas. This system is heated by placing it on the top of a burner. The system undergoes option A constant volume process, B a constant pressure process, C an adiabatic process, D an isothermal process. As the piston is not uh, displacing itself, okay, or there is no displacement of piston, okay, so the process will be constant volume process, okay. Answer is A. Next, for a pure substance at triple point, only solid and liquid phases coexist in equilibrium. Only liquid and vapor phase coexist in equilibrium. Only solid, vapor phases coexist in equilibrium. Solid, liquid, and vapor phases coexist in equilibrium. At triple point, all the three phases coexist in the in equilibrium. That's why this called triple point. Whereas at critical point, only the vapor and liquid phase coexist. Okay, so answer is B. Next, in a saturated liquid vapor mixture, property quantity X is defined as mass of vapor divided by total mass. Okay, so answer is A. So mass of vapor divided by mass of liquid plus mass of vapor. So answer is A. Next, the shape of the sorry, the slope of the Euler diagram at constant pressure indicates A enthalpy, B entropy, C internal energy, D temperature. So Euler diagram is HS diagram. Okay, H is on vertical axis and S is on horizontal axis. So slope is dH by dx, and dH is your dq at constant pressure. Okay, so at constant the change in enthalpy is heat supply and heat supply is Tds. Okay, so dH by ds is equal to T. Okay, so it will be answer D. Okay, so slope is dH by ds is T. Okay. Next, answer the option D. Next, if QL represents the magnitude of heat transfer from a low temperature reservoir to a cyclic device, QH represents the magnitude of heat transfer from a cyclic device to height to a high temperature reservoir, then for same QL and QH, coefficient of performance COPR and coefficient of performance of heat pump COPHP can be stated as A COPR is equal to 1 minus COPHP, B COPHP is equal to COPR plus 1, and COPR multiplies COPHP is 1, COPHP is equal to COPR minus 1. So answer is COPHP, COPR plus 1 because COPR is the uh, WD effect by total work done, that is T2 by for carbon cycle it is T2 by T1 minus T2. Okay, and COP and P is T1 by T2 minus T1 minus T2. So by putting this, we can get this relationship. Okay, so you have to remember this relationship. Okay, the COP heat pump is equal to COP refrigerator plus 1. Okay, the Clausius inequality is written as these are the options. And from the Clausius statement, we have that the entropy is given by this change in entropy is given by del Q by del T. Cyclic entropy is given by cyclic change in entropy. For a reversible cycle, the change in entropy for a reversible or irreversible cycle, both, because entropy is a property. And when a cycle is performed, then we reach at the same point. Okay, and property is a point function. Okay, so the change in entropy for a cyclic process will be zero. So uh, for general case, so del Q by del T cyclic is for reversible cycle it will be equal to zero, and for irreversible it will be less than zero. So answer is your C. Next, in a diesel cycle, the ratio of cylinder volume after and before combustion process is called uh, cutoff ratio. The volume of cylinder after heating is heating, and volume of before heating before combustion process is cutoff ratio. Okay, so V2 V if the diagram is given with V3 by V2 is cutoff ratio. Okay. The cutoff ratio is also defined as the point at which the heat supply is cut off during the stroke. So at the point where it is cut off, then is V3, and where it is uh, just expansion starts, that is V1. Okay. So the ratio of V3 by V1 is cutoff ratio. Okay. Next, the energy or availability of a system at a specified state A depends on the condition of system alone, depends on the condition of the environment alone, depends on the condition of both system and environment. Yes, yeah, the availability is the maximum amount of work done by up to reaching the that state. That state is the environmental state. Okay, so it depends upon the condition of both system and environment. So answer is C. Next, in each of the following choices, there are two expressions given. The choice, select the choice that gives the first, the defining expression for volume expansivity, and second, the expression for the expansivity or volume expansivity for hydrogen. Okay. The volume expansivity is defined as 1 by V, curly V by curly V, curly V by curly P constant. Okay. Expansion of change in volume with respect to temperature at constant pressure divided by original volume. Okay. That is volume expansivity. Okay. So first is volume expansivity. This okay. This is here P by T here also. Okay. And for ideal gas, we know that PV by RT is constant. So changing volume by changing the volume to changing temperature of constant pressure is here R by P. Okay. So here here R is constant. Okay. And P is also constant. Okay. So R by P, and using this again, R by P will be equal to V by T. Okay. So and this expression for ideal gas becomes 1 by V, only V by changing volume by pressure, temperature T is equal to 1 by V into V by T, what 1 by T on. Okay. Next. Question 10 to question 22 carry 2 marks each. Question 10. A certain mass of gas at 0 degree Celsius is expanded to 81 times its original volume under adiabatic condition. If the ratio of specific heat of the gas gamma 1.25 final temperature of the gas is A minus 235 degrees Celsius, B minus 182 degrees Celsius, C minus 91 degrees Celsius, D 0. So, a certain because expansion is adiabatic condition, is under adiabatic condition. So, it has to satisfy P1 by P2 is equal to V2 by V1 and okay, or and the volume final volume to initial volume ratio is 81. Okay, and we also know that for adiabatic condition P1 by P2 is P1 by P2 and my n minus 1. Okay, from these two we can have the relationship between temperature and volume. Now V2 by V1 is your 81. Okay, and temperature initially is 0 degree Celsius or 273 degree Kelvin. So we can find out T2. Okay, by putting V2 by V1 is equal to 81, we can find out n is given as gamma is given as 1.25. Okay, and this equal to gamma. So we can find out T2 that will be 91 Kelvin and in degree Celsius will be minus 182. So option B is the right answer. Okay, next. A sample of gas with initial average kinetic energy E is heated from 27 degrees Celsius to 327 degrees Celsius. The average kinetic energy after heating is the kinetic energy is, in general is given by that is the plus two concept that is given by 3 by 2 kT, where kT is the Boltzmann constant and it is equal to R naught by N naught. R naught is your universal gas constant and N naught is Avogadro's number. Okay, so K is Boltzmann constant and that is a constant quantity. Okay, so K only depends upon T. Okay, as the temperature increases, the K will increase. Okay, so when the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, it will be this 3 by 2 K into 300 in Kelvin. Okay, and when it is 327 or 600, so it will be 3 by 2 K into 600. Okay, so E by E1 is equal to E1 by E is equal to 600 by 300. So E1 is equal to 2E is equal to so E1 will be equal to 2E. So option B is the right answer. Okay. Next. Helium in a piston cylinder assembly at 20 degrees Celsius and 100 kPa is brought to 400 Kelvin. Okay. Helium initially at 20 degrees Celsius and 100 kPa is brought to 400 Kelvin. In a reversible polytropic process with exponent n is equal to 1.25, uh, assume the helium to be an ideal gas. The molecular mass of helium is 4.003 kilogram per mole. The specific work in the process is approximately, actually it should be Celsius. Okay, it is 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, take it as 400 degrees Celsius. So the specific work done is RT2 minus RT1 and 1 minus n in case of polytropic process. Okay, n is given as 1.25. So 400 minus 20, 380, and R is your nothing but 8.3 by molecular weight of helium. Okay, so it will be and and is your 0.25. Okay, and is your 1.5. 1.25. So answer will be this minus 319.3. Let us solve by taking 20 as Kelvin only. Okay, let us do it. We get the wrong answer, then it is okay. but you have to just subtract 373 only. 3 into 280 minus 273 into 2 divided by 0.25. Okay, so answer will be then 86. It is not in the option, so it is 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, so next question is 32 kilogram of oxygen is mixed with 28 kilogram of nitrogen at same temperature. The gases are at same pressure 103 kPa before and after mixing. Okay, let's just make it 400 Kelvin or degree Celsius. Next, now we proceed. 32 kilogram of oxygen is mixed with 28 kilogram of nitrogen at same temperature. Okay, at same temperature. The gases are at same pressure of 103 kPa before and after mixing. If R is the universal gas constant in kilojoule per kilomole per degree Kelvin, the change in entropy of the mixture is A 1.3 R bar, B 0.69 R bar, C R bar, D 0.34 R bar. Here the mass of oxygen is 32 kg. Okay, and the then we can calculate the volume of oxygen, initial volume. Okay, so M is 32 kg and R for oxygen will be this amount universal gas constant by molecular weight of oxygen. Okay, into T by P. Okay, T is the T is the temperature and P is the pressure. So it will be initial volume of the oxygen will be 8.34 T by P. Similarly, the initial volume of the nitrogen is M R into T by P. M is 28 into again same the mass is 28 kg and R characteristic gas constant for oxygen will be this 8.3 divided by 28 T. So it will be again 8.314 T by T. Okay, so this is the initial volume of oxygen. This is the initial volume of nitrogen. Okay. Now as there are 32 kg of oxygen, so number of moles of oxygen is 1. Okay, and similarly number of moles for nitrogen is 1. So there are 1 mole of oxygen and 1 mole of nitrogen. So total moles of the mixture are 1 plus 1, that is 2. Okay. Now we can calculate the final volume of the mixture that can be calculated by NRU P by P or NRU is equal to MR. Okay, so we can put either NRU or MR. Okay, MR where R is the characteristic gas constant and RU is the universal gas constant. So this is expression is for final volume of the mixture. So this is 2 into 8.314 P by P. This is final volume of the mixture. Okay. So now we have final volume for both of these quantities, that is nitrogen and oxygen, and the initial volume also. Okay. So and the process is constant pressure process. Okay. For this the change in entropy is given by mr ln vf by vi. Okay, and m for that oxygen, and for that entropy for that nitrogen is mn2 rn2 ln svf by vn. Okay, as temperature is constant. Okay, temperature and pressure both are constant, so entropy change is given by this these formulas. So this is we can put vf is 2 times of that either of this DN1 or D2I, DNI or D2I. Okay, to putting this and RO2 is 8.31 for the 32 and MO2 is 32. Again, MRN2 is 8.31 for the 28. Into MN2 is 58. By putting this, we can get 2 R bar LN2 or 1.3862 R bar. Okay, so this option A is the 4.3 R bar is universal gas constant. Is the right answer. Okay. Next, consider two Carnot heat engines A and B operating in series. Engine A receives heat from a reservoir at 1750 Kelvin and rejects heat to another reservoir at temperature T. The engine B receives an amount of energy same as that rejected by engine A from the reservoir at temperature T. The engine B then rejects heat to another reservoir at 320 Kelvin. In both cases, the engine produces same amount of work. If thermal efficiency of both the engines are same, then the temperature T is approximately. Okay. Now for the same efficiency of two Carnot cycles as they are in series, okay, and T is the temperature, let T be the temperature as is given. So T is the temperature of the intermediate as well. Now, if the thermal efficiency of the both are same, okay, the thermal efficiency of the first engine is as the lowest temperature T and highest temperature 1750. So thermal efficiency is 1750 minus 3 by 1750. Okay, and similarly, the temperature T minus 320 and for the second engine, the highest temperature is T and lowest temperature is 320. So 3 minus 320, that is okay. So by this, by this, by cross multiplying, we can get T is equal to 738. That is the temperature of the intermediate reservoir. Just doing, just equating the efficiency of the two engine. Okay, and T with the T as intermediate temperature and 1750 as the maximum temperature for the first cycle and T is the maximum temperature for the second cycle. We need to give the minimum temperature for the second cycle. So answer is the 748. Option B. Next, Joule-Thomson coefficient for a gas mu J obeying the relation P V minus B is equal to RT is Joule-Thomson coefficient is this. This is Joule-Thomson coefficient. The change in temperature with respect to change in pressure at constant distances. Okay, and it is given by this formula. Okay, for any gas, it is for real gas. Okay, when when and it can also be written as here alpha when alpha is written as 1 by V, there will be the change in volume by 2 change in temperature at constant temperature, or it is called isothermal expansivity. Okay, so it can be written as like this. Okay, you have to remember this formula. Okay, now P is equal to V minus B is equal to RT is given. Okay, now from this V minus B is equal to RT by P. So V is equal to RT by P plus B. Okay, B is equal to RT by B plus B. Okay, so now change in volume with respect to change in temperature is R by P. Okay, and it is 0. Okay, now putting this curly V by curly V at constant pressure here. Okay, that is R by P, 1 by Cp, R by P. Okay, P minus V. So R by P we are putting here Now V is your R by T plus D. Okay. Now we can put it also. But from this expression, this will cancel out. So it will be minus B by C. So answer is option. Next, the correct expression representing Z to be thermodynamic property is Z is equal to PD, B Z is equal to VdP, C Z is equal to PdV plus VdP, D Z is equal to PdV minus VdP. Okay. Now the property is Z is equal to PdV plus VdP uh, because it is satisfying this Z is equal to mx plus dx because here m curly m by curly m by curly by x constant and curly n by curly n by curly x. Okay, and curly t here curly p by curly p is one. Okay, here curly b by curly b is one. Is only one. So c is the property. Okay, so answer is c. Which here it should be n. Okay, curly n by curly by x, curly n by curly x y. Next, common data question for question number 17 and question number 18. The vapor pressure of liquid ammonia in atmosphere in the vicinity of triple point can be expressed as LNP 3063 by D is equal to 15.16, where temperature T is expressed in Kelvin. In a similar manner, vapor pressure of solid ammonia can be expressed LNP plus 3754 by T 18.7. Okay. Take the molecular mass of ammonia to be 17 kg per kilo mole. Okay. So this is the for liquid ammonia and this is for vapor for solid ammonia. Okay, vapor pressure for solid ammonia. Okay, this is vapor pressure for liquid ammonia. This is vapor pressure for solid ammonia. So we have to the temperature and pressure at triple point. At triple point, both the phases coexist. Okay, so these expression will be same. Expression and temperature will be same. Okay, so so subtracting this expression from this, we get 3063 by T minus 3754 by T. Okay, or 15.16 minus 18.7. Okay, so or minus 691 by T or minus 3.04. Okay, so T is you can get 195.2. Okay, from this by equating L and P in these two expressions we can get T, and then we can get P putting in either of the expressions. Okay, so this is the temperature and pressure at triple point. Okay, so it comes out 195 and 0.58. 195 and 0.58. Okay, option B. Okay, now from the classes periodic equation we have dP by dt equal to L vapor divided by T V triple dash minus V double dash. So V triple dash is equal to RT by T. V triple dash RT by T because it is a gas. Okay, so you can use ideal gas equation. Okay, and L vapor dP by dt uh, L so and this is the specific volume of liquid. That specific volume of gas is very large as compared to specific volume of liquid. So this can be electric. Okay. So it becomes the expression becomes putting this V triple S as RT by T. The expression becomes P by PL equation RT square. Okay. Now uh, for the liquid ammonia or for the operation, this is given LNP, but we have to find the latent of the operation. Okay, for the liquid ammonia, the pressure is given by this. and the evaporation take is at constant pressure. Okay, so from this we can integrate it. Okay, then integration will give 1 by t dt by dt and 3063 by t square. Okay, and minus 1 and this will be 0. Okay, from this we can get dt by dt and now we can put dt by dt in this expression. Okay, so it will p square will cancel out, pt cancel out. So L evaporation will be R into 3063. So L evaporation will be 1497.8 kilojoules per kilogram. Okay. Uh, by putting R is equal to RV by molecular mass given, that is 17. Okay. Molecular mass is given 17 kilograms. Molecular weight. Okay. So the answer is 1497.98 kilojoules per kilogram. Option C is the option C is the one for minus. Next, common data for question 19 and 20. Consider a consider an ideal reheat cycle utilizing steam. Steam leaves the boiler and enters the turbine at 3 MPa, 400 degrees Celsius, state 3, and then expands to 0.8 MPa, state 4. It is then reheated at constant pressure 0.8 MPa to 400 degrees Celsius, state 5, and expands to 10 kPa in low pressure turbine, state 6. The entry to the pump correspond to saturated liquid state, state 1, and state 2 represent inlet to the boiler. The following data are given. H1 191.81 kilojoules per kilogram, H3 3230.82 kilojoules per kilogram, H4 2891.6 kilojoules per kilogram, H5 3267.97 kilojoules per kilogram. Hg 10 kPa at 10 kPa is 2584.63 kilojoules per kilogram. H6 is uh, quality of the steam at 6, okay, 3.92 and Pf at 10 kPa is 0.001. Okay. So this is the cycle given with steam entering in the high pressure turbine at 3 and leaving at 4, and then it is reheated and it is entering at 5 and leaving at saturated vapor. Okay. And then it is expanded, then it is then the heat is being rejected at one, and 1 2 is pumped, and again the cycle 2 3 is your heat added in boiler. Okay, heat added in boiler, and this is heat added in heater. Okay, the total heat transfer rate is of H3 minus H2. Okay, and H5 minus H4. Okay, so H3 minus H2 will be H, sorry, H2 will be H1 plus pump work. So this is H1 and this is pump work, and H5 minus H4 is this heat added. Okay, now we can take the data from the given condition. H3 is your 3230, and H2 is your H2 is your H2 is sorry, H1 is your H1 H1 is your 191.81, and this is 0.001 into change pressure. Okay, plus now H5 minus H4. H5 is your this 3267 and H4 is 2981.6. Okay, so putting these values we can get 3412.8 kilojoules per kilogram. That is heat added in boiler. Okay, now The first question is the heat transfer in boiler, that is 3412.18. Now the net work done. Now net work done will be given by H3 minus H4 and H5 minus H6 plus H5 minus H6. Okay. So H3 minus H3 is your uh, H3 minus H4 is sorry, the dryness fraction at 6 is 0.92285 and F is your 191.8. Okay, so H6 is your H6 is your change in enthalpy into dryness fraction plus 191.8, 2400 kilojoules per kilogram. So this is H6. H5 that we have used in this and all other are we are using in the publication. Okay. So this is your combined work 1207 kilojoules per kilogram. Now this is a work done by turbine and we have to subtract the pump work. Okay, pump work is BF P2 minus P1. Okay, so this will be P2 minus P1 into uh, pressure, sorry, into that passive volume. Okay, so this will be 2.99. So turbine work minus pump work will give net work done. That so the option is 101204. Okay. If we don't consider pump work, then we will also get nearest option. But you have to consider pump work because sometimes options are very close. Okay. Next, linked answer questions. A piston cylinder arrangement as shown in the figure initially contains air at 150 kPa and 400 degrees Celsius. The arrangement is allowed to cool to the ambient temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. The characteristic gas constant for air is 0.287 kilojoules per kilogram per milligram. The cylinder valve has stops of negligible thickness that can prevent the piston from moving down. The stops are 1 meter from the inner side of the base surface of the cylinder. At the initial stage, the piston is resting 1 meter above the stop. So this is the arrangement given. The piston is resting here at 1 meter above the stop, and the stop is at the 1 meter from the above and below it also the distance is 1 meter. Now, when the piston reaches this stop, you have to calculate the final pressure. Final pressure in the cylinder is A 130.7, B 150, C 200.7, D 230.7. Specific burden by the air during the process. So as the piston is moving downward, so there is some burden, so that will be have to be used. Now the final pressure we can calculate by assuming the conditions and condition. We suppose this given condition is one condition. So pressure here is P1, B1, and volume is B1, temperature is P1. And this given condition is suppose P2, and pressure is P2, and volume is B2, and temperature is P2. So P1 V1 by P1 is equal to P2 V2 by P2. Okay. Now, as we can see that the volume of the first condition is double of that initial sorry of final condition. Okay. So P1 is equal to 2V2. Okay. And P1 initial pressure is given. Initial pressure is 150 kPa and temperature is 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, 670 degrees. And pressure is your P2. Pressure is at P2. Okay. Net pressure is P2 and final temperature is also given 20 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then cold to ambient condition. Temperature is also given 290 degrees. So P2 is your 150 into 2 into 290 divided by 670 is P2 is your 130.7. Okay, here option A is the okay. This can be done by just by equating the and conditions. Okay. Now we have to calculate the specific burden during the process. Now the initial specific volume is your we can do that by using PD is equal to RT, M is taken as 1. Okay. So this is the initial specific volume. Okay. Okay. And the final specific volume is half of this. Okay, that we have used in previous case also. Now it is given that the pressure remains constant. So no. Okay, now the sorry. Now we don't have to calculate the heat required. No? So we have to calculate only the work done. And work done is given by PdV. So the specific burden will be your P pressure remains constant. Okay, because pressure is the cylinder was as the piston is moving, the pressure will remain constant. Okay, so the work done will be given as P V2 minus V1. Okay, that is the as there is a final volume, initial volume, that is initial volume. Okay, so that work done is minus 9667. Okay, so the work is done when the piston moves downward. Okay, and when the piston moves downward, the pressure will remain constant. And when the piston rests on the spokes and it is allowed to cool down, then the pressure will change. But during the travel, the pressure will remain constant. Okay, so that will be equal to initial pressure. So that way we have taken this P is equal to 150, and we are finding out the work done when the piston is traveling. When the piston is traveling, the pressure is constant. Once it rests on the spokes, then the pressure changes. Okay, so the work will be done then it is getting displaced through answer is here 19 minus 96 96 6 so answer is